Hello everyone. In this video I'm gonna be recording with Aluren for a change. Um, like this week in Legacy, like the article series, they posted a deck list that made like top 8 in a Japanese. I think there's a 200 player event, and yeah, so it was a very big event, and it's a version with 1 Imperial Recruiter and 4 Recruiter of the Guards. So it's not a same Aluren that I had been playing before. But in general, it looked very attractive to me, like it has the Abyss in the sideboard, which is a card I love, even though I hardly play it. I mean, just these kind of old school legend cards. And yeah, Scarab God, I have no idea what it does. I'd have to read it before boarding it in. Yeah, I like this kind of janky cards. So let's see how it performs. The combo is more likely to win. Like, in general, it shouldn't be able to be disrupted by removal, right? I mean, this one only has one Quickling, so maybe they can kill the Quickling uh, in response to like then there's the battlefield trigger of Quickling trying to bounce the recruiter of the card that could maybe kill it. So maybe it's not as good against removal spells as the other version. I'm not entirely sure. But it probably doesn't matter a lot. Like, seems like it still has a lot of reach anyway, and we'll find it out. Like I've never played the blue or white version, and yeah, so I might make some mistakes in sequencing and things like that. But we'll find out on the go. Like if we brainstorm next turn and we find a combo piece, we'll just try to go off. And them playing Baleful Streaks means I think they are on either real Grixis or otherwise they are probably on... Oh wait, yeah, maybe I should have brainstormed. I was going for the Baleful Streaks here. But maybe Brainstorm would have dug me a lot deeper, and I can still cast Baleful Streaks of the Aluren. Maybe it was a mistake. Anyway, I'm suspecting they are either 4-color Leovold or Grixis. Grixis Control, not Grixis Delver. Let's see, does the deck play this card, main deck? It does not. It does play Collective Brutality. So if you want to play around them having Force of Will, we might like brainstorm for Collective Brutality or a Force of Will first. Do you only have one Parasitic Strix in this deck? Like the Bug-Aluren decks often play, like the ones without Recruiter often play 2 or even 3, I think usually 2 recently, but this one only, like the ones with Recruiter play only 1, so you do not want to pitch this to Force of Will. This is counting card types. I think it has a Delirium card in it. Yeah, in the sideboard it has a To the Slaughter, which has Delirium, but it does not have it main deck. So it's interesting to see it counting card types here. Snapcaster, Fatal Push my Deathrite, I'm assuming. Oh, Ponder, sure. So we have Recruiter, that means we could just jam Aluren here. If they Force of Will, we can just brainstorm and try to go for it next turn. And if they don't have Force of Will, we probably just win on the spot. And I'm using my Death Right and not the fetch land because I want to keep my brainstorm. I want to keep my fetch land for when I draw brainstorm. I mean, for when I have brainstormed next turn. And I'm not brainstorming in response to the force because then I would need to crack my fetch land and I can't. I might brainstorm lock myself if I don't find the Aluren. So I think I start with brainstorm. But I need to find a land and Aluren. So I might, if I only find a land, I might set up a Shardless Agent, and if I don't find a land, I might just do the same, right? I don't need Parasitic Strix. I think I don't need... Actually, Force of Will is kind of nice. I probably don't need Collective Brutality here. Because I can use the Shardless Agent as a blue card for Force of Will, and Force of Will protects us against more than Collective Brutality. Yeah, let's fetch a Bayou. I don't think they're on Wastelands, so blue, green, and anything. So we get to dig even one more card deeper to find the Aluren next turn. And if we don't, we can maybe find a card to set up, like, we can put a card back that we put Abrupt Decay second and Aluren on top, so they can't discard my Aluren with Thoughtseize. And if I don't want to go for the Aluren next turn, I can cascade into an Abrupt Decay with the Shardless Agent. This deck doesn't need the value like Bug Aluren does, because there you need to use your Cavern Harpy. There you need to use your Cavern Harpy to like keep cascading until you find your combo pieces. But here you have the Imperial Recruiter insta-kill. Oh, actually I need to cast this with Aluren. So you don't need to preserve your Shardless Agents, so you might as well block, I think. So the first thing you do is get all your recruiters. So then at least you're secure against secure against like a spot removal on your recruiter trying to interrupt the combo. So you cast all your recruiters, and with the last one you get a quickling. With the quickling you bounce your recruiter off the guard, and then you recruit for Cavern Harpy. Cavern Harpy bounces the quickling again, quickling bounces the recruiter again, and then you go tutor up the Parasitic Strix. So you get quickling. This one means that they could kill me. Like if I didn't have the Force of Will, they could kill my quickling in response to main deck Red Elemental Blast. Sure. So return. Do you wish to return another creature? Yes. Returning the recruiter. And here at this point, if they kill the quickling, I probably can't finish the combo, so that's a weakness of this version. If my opponent has a counter spell, that would be kind of weird, or if they have another red blast. It's strange that I didn't do this after I forced their red blast, like trying to dig for Force of Will for my force, for example. So you bounce another recruiter. Use this recruiter to tutor up Parasitic Strix. Oh wait, I need to control a black card. That was a big mistake. So I need to drain like this. Okay, they don't have removal spells. I'm not gonna play it differently. Like there's probably a way to sequence this so you don't lose to a removal spell on the Strix. The opponent wants to make us waste our time and waste their own time. Or maybe they just went to get a drink. But in like 8 clicks there, in like 16 clicks they should be dead. Okay, so we have storm count of 31. We could have tendrils for 62 here, but this also works. Opponent is on check pile. This looks like a grindy card. This looks like it could be good against a deck with not so many basics. To the Slaughter deals with Jays, but I'm not sure how much I care about Jays with this deck. And Thoughtseize could be okay, like to deal with their... I think I get Force of Wills, and Thoughtseize can deal with their counter spells or other removal spells. Together with Collective Brutality. Yeah, I think it's been too long that I played Bug Aluren, but I need to play Cavern Harpy first, and with the enters the battlefield trigger on the stack, I need to play Parasitic Strix. Because then Parasitic Strix enters, Cavern Harpy is still on the battlefield, so there is a black card to drain 2 life, because you need to have a black permanent. Then the Cavern Harpy trigger will resolve, you return Parasitic Strix, and then you can pay 1 life to return Cavern Harpy. Because then if they try to kill the Strix during this part, your Cavern Harpy is on the battlefield. So in response to their swords to plowshares, you can pay 1 life, return Cavern Harpy, play it again, and bounce your Parasitic Strix. So it can play around one single removal spell on the Strix, but it can not play around a removal spell on the Quickling, I think. But it also plays Volrath's Stronghold. So if you lose one of the combo pieces, it's probably fine. Yeah, this hand has value cards in it, like Cascading seems like good against a grindy deck, and Deathrite is of course a very good creature. The Collective Brutality lets us check for Force of Will, and Abrupt Decay can deal with Leovold. And Cavern Harpy will let us cascade more times with Charlotte's Agent, so I think this is very decent. Maybe bringing in back to basics is a little bit too greedy here, because it doesn't entirely kill them, like it would kill something like Eldrazi, probably more. And we only have 3 basics, so we actually need 3 basics and Deathrite to cast Aluren with the back to basics in play. Okay, I think I lead on Baleful Strix here instead of Collective Brutality. Let me draw a card because I want to find a 3rd land with the Deathrite having died. Opponent plays Leovold, sure. Probably just want to decay Leovold here, right? Or I could wait until their end step, because then they can't play a 2nd Leovold. I think I keep this as a blocker, just to save myself from getting attacked here. Then I'll decay the end step. Okay, Hymn to Turak discarded our Cavern Harpy, which means they could surgical it and then we don't have a way to combo anymore. Because I lose the one in my hand as well. I think I start with attacking, playing out my death right. And then I could either collective brutality check for something like Kolaghan's command, or I could play the Cavern Harpy and bounce my Baleful Streaks, but I think I first wanna check what they've got going on. Maybe I should have played Collective Brutality first, because now they can abrupt decay my death right if it's like their only instant or sorcery in their hand. And otherwise I could still decay my Strix, but I think that death right is more important. Surgical, Cavern Harpy. Okay, they did have the surgical. So that was a line that could be expected. Okay, opponent has Snapcaster and Basic Swamp in their hand. So that means they could Snapcaster Toxic Deluge, but then they lose 2 cards from my 2 cards. And nobody has anything going on. Or they might Snapcaster him, Snapcaster Push, or yeah, Snapcaster Brainstorm. And I think we're behind here. Like, they've got a Brainstorm, so they will probably at least find one good card, and this is kind of bad here, because I can try to return my Baleful Streaks to hand, but if they kill the Streaks in response, I need to bounce my own Death right, which is kind of lame. So I'm happy to see my opponent tap out. So I return the Strix. I didn't attack because then they just block my Strix and I can't cast my Quickling. So now we need him not to have him to Turek or Snapcaster him to Turek. Okay, yeah, now we're very far behind. Like losing our 2 Brainstorms, that's... and our Death right. Quickling, I think Quickling doesn't do anything anymore at this point, so I'm just gonna trade him with trade it with the Snapcaster Mage. They might have kept a land and not play it. Yeah, okay, they did. And because they have a bunch of bolts and cold gas commands, I think it's easier for them to beat me by speed. So I think attacking here and trading isn't achieving much, because then they just play Snapcaster or Leovold and attack for 4 a turn, and I can only attack for 1 a turn. Oops, it was a mistake. I think I should have kept it in hand, because if they Kolaghan's command me in my next draw step, I can't discard my fetch land. I'm playing out the Aluren here, both because it protects me against discard. Like if they try to Kolaghan's command me next turn and I draw a creature, I can just flash in the creature. And also playing it now means that I can just top deck anything and start going. I mean, not really going, but I can fetch all my recruiters. And then I have like 5 power at least. And yeah, the last one gets... Yeah, my recruiter can get a Shardless Agent, and I can start at least building a board presence. Here I have 3 damage going on, so I think I just cast this. Drain them for 2. They might Red Blast this if they have a Red Blast. No, they did have Red Blast. Oh yeah, like I said, now I have to keep this in hand in case they ever draw a Call Against Command. Which is a card they have in their deck. Like, it's more or less guaranteed, I think. Oh, and it also lets them waste 2 life. Thought seizing me. I'm playing out to fetch land against Jay's Fate Seal. And against him to Turek. Like, now if they hit me, I only lose 1. I think here I played a second. It does let them play Snapcasters for free. But I can play it around the Spell Pierce, which I'm not sure any deck plays, any Grixis deck or Leovold deck plays these days. But I didn't want to risk it. Opponent has 2 cards in hand and a Death Ride, so I think we just lose here. See, and the deck, does it have any red sources? It actually does not. So we have no way of casting his Imperial Recruiter. I think I'm playing out the Swamp because these are red. I don't want to get him to direct away. In case I ever draw my back to basics, I don't want to lose my 1 Swamp to getting himmed. I will already start thinking whether I want to board anything else in. Into the Slaughter is okay, at least it deals with their stuff. Seems better, like especially because they are very prepared against our combo by having a bunch of discard and a bunch of counters and surgicals after they counter or discard our combo pieces. Snapcaster, Fatal Push, sure. So I take 4 damage here. I would need a solution next turn. And a single removal spell wouldn't be enough. Nope, that's not gonna do it. Grafdigger's Cage stops Snapcaster Mage, but I think that's not enough. I think I just run this back. Like, we just got himmed really badly, and like him taking the Cavern Harpy, giving him a surgical target, for example, it's very bad. And then the second him taking our double Brainstorm. Yes, I would like to play first. This hand is not great, but it's keepable. It has a basic blue and a basic swamp, so we only need to draw one more land. Like, we can turn 2 Baleful Strix and turn 3 back to basics. If we find a land. If we find mana here. Otherwise we probably Brainstorm and play the Deathrite or something like that. And also if we don't get himmed here. Okay, opponent is tapping double black. It's time for him to Turak. Sure. And they took our Deathrite and Charlotte's Agent. That's good. Ooh, we did not draw another land, which means I need to play the Deathrite. Do I put back the Aluren or do I leave it in my hand to get Thought Seized? I think I leave the Aluren combo pieces in my hand to get Thought Seized. So I put back to basics on top, and then underneath I put my... Oh, I guess Sylvan Library. Neither of which we can cast if something happens to our Deathrite. Actually, he has double Deathrite, so he can just eat something in response to my activation. Discard Aluren. Gonna be the least useful card in my hand for a lot of turns. I think I kill one of their Deathrites and make them discard. Like, this Recruiter of the Guard is gonna feel miserable anyway for a lot of turns. And I think I take the Reb, or do I take the Ponder? I think I take the Ponder. Because this back to basics is not gonna be enough at this point anyway. Like, if I would be able to cast back to basics next turn, I would take the Red Elemental Blast. But because I know the Sylvan Library is on top, it doesn't really matter. I think I just block here. This is looking horrible. And this deck has a lot more value than we do. Like a 2 for 1, 2 for 1, that's a 2 for 1. We have like the Baleful Streaks as a 2 for 1 and the Shardless Agent, but... Ooh, he didn't take the library, that's our best chance. He only has the Red Elemental Blast and one unknown card. So if we find the green source this turn, before he has like Hardcast Force of Will up, or something like that. Ooh, there we go. I'm going to fetch a Savannah here, because I don't think they play Wastelands, and this lets us cast Recruiter of the Guard if we find it. Spell Pierce. Okay. You really have the perfect Hymn to Turek and Spell Pierce. Is there and then like those, I think that was literally the only card they could use to beat my Sylvan Library. Because Force of Will, we knew they didn't have a second blue card in hand. I'm going to concede here, we are not winning against that. With an empty hand. And we found a second opponent. Orim, that guy plays Dredge, if I remember correctly. So yes, we want to play first. And having Deathrite would be a lot better, but I think we can't mulligan hand like that. They might. They're probably gonna kill us game one, so we don't have any hate in our opening hand, and even in our main deck we only have Deathrite as a hate card. They might have a slow opener, and you didn't have LED because they would probably have played it turn one. It could break through here. Which means I probably want to fetch, brainstorm, try to find Force of Will. And I think I want a tropical, because green mana is the best in this deck. Like Aluren costs... Ooh, we did find Force of Will and Aluren. Don't think Decay is good, like they make a bunch of zombies and... Yeah, probably could put back Parasitic Strix. Like Aluren costs do? I don't know what I was talking about. Probably saying something about tropical island. So I think I just cascade here, probably looking for something like a brainstorm or like something else that gives us, oh yeah, this as well. Anything that could find us the fourth mana to cast the Aluren. It is kind of strange though, because this will let them, this will allow them to hardcast Narcomoebas from their hand. I mean, not hardcast, but cast Narcomoebas from their hand for free. I may want to keep this in hand until I'm actually sure to have the win, like if Sylvan Library finds me something. Oh, okay, they already decided to hardcast their own Narcomoebas. So we have a land. Now all we need is a recruiter here. If there is a recruiter in the next two cards, we win. Let's see, put back. And put back. I could cast Aluren and then place tricks and hope they don't beat us by playing out random dudes from their hand. Might attack first, right? See if they block here. They could block to make a zombie token, but at least they won't be able to play a Dredger and block and then have the Dredger go to the graveyard. So if this Baleful Strix hits a creature, we could keep going, and otherwise we need to hope to draw something off the Sylvan Library. But I think our opponent only has one turn. Like, the Sylvan Library should find something by now. It's like very unlikely not to hit anything. So unless they have, what's it called? Ashen Rider. Actually, Ashen Rider to kill the Sylvan Library instead of the Aluren. Or they have Flamekin Zealot to give all their zombies haste. Like, they could maybe make a bunch of zombies and then give them haste. Wait, did they... Ooh, they bricked on Dredgers. They only have the... They only had the Golgari Thug. That's really unfortunate for them. But they have a second Colosseum activation. So they could dredge the Stinkweed Imp. Oh yeah, now they have a Thug. Now they have a double Thug, so they get to dredge more. And they have a bunch of bridges and therapies and Icarid. Oh yeah, they just play out these chunky creatures and then sacrifice them to therapies, maybe. Yeah. Oh, they have 4 bridges already. They might put back something like an Narcomoeba if they have one, to like guarantee it coming back. Because then they can dredge back into an Narcomoeba and it will enter from the graveyard, so it will return. Okay, so now our opponent has enough creatures to kill us. Meaning, indeed, like I predicted, we have one turn to find something here. But not going for it last turn would mean we would still probably have been dead-ish to the... I think they're gonna put back... Yeah, they put back Narcomoeba. I think if I kept it in hand, they would just have been able to therapy it away anyway. Probably. And I'm not blocking because I think this creature might come in handy. In case we find Cavern Harpy, for example. Ooh, that's not good enough, I think. I didn't pay extra to draw the extra lands because this is going to cascade away. That's going to cascade away like the 2 lands anyway. Okay, this puts us back to 16, kills a creature. No, it only kills creature or drains, yeah. I think we're still, yeah, we're still completely dead to the damage there. Because it's like 18, 22, yeah, there's no way we're surviving there. Man, even next turn, Sylvan Library would not have found us anything. We want Fairy Macabre, Containment Priest, Surgical, Gravedigger's Cage, maybe Thoughtseize to take their LEDs on the place. Maybe Thoughtseize is fine. I think I cut the Abrupt Decays, Collective Brutalities, because those are just 1-for-1s, and just one-for-one removal spells, which are great. And I got one Force of Will. Like if I Abrupt Decay their Narcomoeba, they get a zombie. If I Abrupt Decay their zombie, it doesn't really do a whole lot either. Yeah, this is a keep. Turn 1 Cage into turn 2 Sylvan Library seems decent. Actually, should not be auto-yielding. I'm too used to doing it from playing Enchantress. Deathrite. I think I played Deathrite here. Could have like a Chain of Vapor for my Gravedigger's Cage, and at least now I have like I will have double Graveyard Hate online. Yeah, opponent concedes to that. I think on the play, Force of Will is better than Thoughtseize, so I put back in those. And this is only zombies I control. It would be funny if it was number of zombies on the battlefield. I'm actually gonna board this in. It's very expensive, but it might be some late game value exiling creatures from their graveyard. You never know. It says something about creatures and graveyards, so. This is risky. I could scry, hope to find land. I think I'm gonna take the risk here. And apparently that was a very bad idea. Yeah, these 2 cards were just too attractive to let go. Only getting to 5 is kind of bad against Dredge as well, I think. Because then the chances of having a hate card is even smaller. Ooh, okay. That was very lucky. Probably would have played Deathrite first if I had hit a black or a green source. But at least this will let us brainstorm next turn, so I'm not very sad. Please don't brainstorm lock me. Okay, we can't. So we can cast Recruiter next turn because they have City of Brass in the graveyard. Or I could just Cascade. I think oh yeah, Imperial Recruiter can get Fairy Macabre. So I think I put back my Strix, which will let me choose between Cascading and and fetching with Recruiter. Wait, they did not dredge, but they have a dredger in hand, right? Maybe they misclicked? It's very interesting. I think I'm just getting the Fairy Macabre here. Definitely taking a bridge from below. I think I'm just taking both bridge from belows here. They're not F6ing, so they might have a cycler, which means going for the Golgari Thug is... I think I just want to go for the bridge from belows here. I don't have... I don't have the experience, but from people who have more experience with playing against Dredge, they say like you should surgical the Ichorites or the bridge from belows, not the Dredgers. So that's not the reason to go after the bridge from below and not the Golgari Thug. Firestorm, deal 4 damage. I don't think so. I think I get rid of the Cavern Harpy here. We have a second one in our deck, and these two cards are more important to find us more stuff. Okay, opponent concedes. Oh yeah, of course, by firestorming their own creature, they would have been able to make some zombies before the Fairy Macabre resolved, which was a smart play, because then at least they could have some creatures, even though I have the Gravedigger's Cage in play. Yeah, we found a third opponent. Let's see, Omimi. Never played against this guy before. Test turn 1, Deathrite into turn 2, Recruiter or Shardless Agent, and with Force of Will backup. But yeah, playing against Burn, maybe that's not great. Like I would probably like some cantrips here. to find, like, if you find Aluren, we win the game. So we need to basically just survive. I probably force any removal spell on the Death Rite. And I think I actually exile a Charles Agent, because I might need the second. Like, if I ever get Eidolon on a battlefield, I can't execute a combo anymore, because I take 2 damage for every spell I play. And I will be dead before I win. So I think I'm not crazy to play Sylvan Library first, because this way I get to keep Charles Agent for Force of Will, and this could find me a land and a Luren, and then I can win with the Recruiter of the Guard and Force of Will up for the Eidolon. I think I force only Eidolon here, like whatever they play. Oh, I do not gain life. Actually, I can find a decay for this, right? But this does stop the Aluren combo. Because I will also be dead before they are dead. Because I start at lower life total and I don't gain life, and I still have to pay, like, I have to pay 1 life for every yeah, I have to pay 1 life to return the Cavern Harpy every time, and so yeah, actually I don't lose because I pay 1 every time and they lose 2 every time, so I could actually raise them. So do I want these tricks? I think I need to, because I want to cascade here. I think Cascade has a better chance of finding something like Abrupt Decay for this than we are likely to randomly draw it off the Baleful Strix. They have 3 cards in hand and we are at 9 life, like 7 if we untap. So they could just, if they have like 4 bolts or like 3 bolts and Fire Blast, we are literally just dead. So I think we don't really have a chance to win this game. We want to bring in Rex Sage, Golgari Charm, and maybe Thalia. Price of Progress in response. So I'm going to take 2 here, I'm going down to 7. Here I take 4, I go down to 3. If I fetch, I go down to 4. I only go down to 4. So I think I fetch to play around the bolt. Now he needs a Fire Blast. To kill me. And I can force the Fire Blast. And if he would go down to 3, he could have like double bolts, while having double Fire Blast is less likely. Oh, this is bad. Do we have any recruiter target to get us out of this here? I don't think so. Anyway, yeah, we don't need another fetch land. Don't think we can use a Death Rite here. Wait, I kept? No, I put it back, right? Okay, yeah, I thought somehow I wanted to put it back, but I clicked keep and I paid 4 life. That was really silly. So I want the Gary Charm to kill their enchantments. It also kills Eidolon because it is an enchantment creature. And we want the... what else did I board in? I had the Rex Sage for the same reason. I'm not sure if I want Sylvan Library. Like it's still a nice way to dig for still a nice way to dig for a win. But I don't know what else to cut. Maybe cut one Aluren and probably one Sylvan Library. Actually, no, I'm just gonna put in the Aluren. We are on the play, so 4 mana could be okay here. And Thoughtseize could also be okay to take their really dangerous stuff like Eidolon, but taking 2 damage against burn, if they maybe only have stuff like Lightning Bolt to save me 1 life, seems quite mediocre. This hand relies on them having a fetch land turn 1, because I don't have a second colored source to cast the Baleful Strix. Yeah, but I think actually burn is one of the worst matchups for bug colored decks. I'm gonna let this resolve because yeah, I want to draw more lands, so I'm quite happy with this. So here I start by fetching basics. So I need a basic island to cast the Strix. The next turn I can play Aluren with Force for their Eidolon and with Charles Agent to try to hit something like Cavern Harpy to start drawing my deck with Baleful Strix. Because Cavern Harpy lets me replay the Strix as many times as I have life, and then I will probably find a Recruiter at some point. Killing the Strix, I guess, is actually fine, because I can still... If I find Cavern Harpy, I can still just bounce the Shardless Agent. Until I find a combo. And I'm assuming they don't have Eidolon, or they would have played it last turn. So I'm gonna hope that they don't get more value out of my Aluren. Ooh, costs. Actually, I think I take the Monastery Swift Spear. Because this is always a 2, so I can choose to block it if I want. But this one, they could pump post blocks, so that could be risky. And also this could randomly reveal a land card and dig me 1 card deeper. So we got the Quickling. So I think with Volrath Stronghold I can put Baleful Strix on top of my deck. And then I can use Quickling to bounce the Shardless Agent, and Shardless Agent cascades into Baleful Strix. Which seems reasonable. I mean, it's basically the same as just drawing 1 extra card, but it will cause me to end up... Maybe I should start getting life with the Death Rite though. Let's see, I can do both here. So I put back the Baleful Strix. Maybe I should have attacked first. Ooh. And there is no reason to play out this land here, because it only makes us weaker to price of progress. Like, it can fetch a basic swamp, but then I still take 1 damage off the fetching. And I'm exiling with Deathrite in my turn, because they could have something like Skullcrack to prevent me from losing life. Oh, that's bad. Need to draw better stuff. So I think every turn I attack with 1 creature and I leave 1 behind. And then, whether if they attack or block, I can always let 1 go to the graveyard and return it with my Volrath Stronghold. I think I'm just gonna go for the exile here. Okay, Strix is good. Let's see what it finds us. Nothing. We might be able to win this. I'm not sure what they have in hand. Like, they have 4 cards, and they don't play any lands out. So they probably have some burn spells that were not lethal yet, and they wanted to keep them for the moment when they could kill me in one go, I'm assuming. So what do we want here? Maybe I get 1 Aluren on the draw. Bring in some number of Thoughtseize to take their Eidolons. I guess 1 Thoughtseize for 1 Aluren. I'll try it out. Because the Force of Will was very important there to counter the Eidolon. So that's not a card we can shave. Especially on the draw. Easy mulligan. This hand is rough. I think I keep and hope to scry to a land here. Because as soon as I have 2 mana, I can deal with most troublesome cards in their deck. Reveal the second Aluren. Okay. I'm gonna lead on Bayou here, which means I can't top deck a Brainstorm to get me out of this, but I have a lot of green cards in my hand, so I think I wanted to risk it. And all of these deal 3 damage, but Swift Spear could deal like more than 3 damage in the long run if it gets to attack several times. Reveal Deathrite, sure. Probably gonna bolt my Deathrites if they see I'm mana screwed. At least it gains me 3 life by being a lightning rod. Please land. No land. Okay, probably lost the game. Should maybe have mulligan, but mulliganing to 5 is also bad because we need every card. We need both Force of Wills and combo cards and lands to beat burn usually. Come on, land. Last chance. Charlotte's Agent. See, we go down to 6. We go down to 3, and then next turn we die because we know we're gonna top deck nothing. That was a risky keep, but against Dredge it worked, and here it didn't. Whipping Rhinos. Yes, I would like to play first. This hand looks very good. I'm going to lead on the forest, which means if the Death Ride gets countered or killed, I can't Brainstorm fetch next turn. But I think looking something like Elves or something might be good here. Because then they will probably name something like Glimpse of Nature with their Veteran Explorer. And actually we have the win in hand, so if they don't have Force of Will, which I think their deck doesn't, we just outright win. Which means, do I even want to Brainstorm? I think I do. I might find a Force of Will. So here I fetch, I keep priority, I exile my Misty Rainforest for a blue mana, which means I can use the fetch land to make blue mana with my Deathrite, and I can still use the shuffle effect here to get like full value. Put land on top and a recruiter on top, because this recruiter just finds the next recruiter, which finds the next recruiter. I think I'm going to start by casting Charlotte's Agent, because if they have something else they want to cast in response, they're probably going to do it here. And then if they do have a response here, they will probably waste it here, and then I can kill them in response with the Recruiter of the Guard. But they don't seem to, so I'm just going for the straight kill. Get my third recruiter, or like the second white one. Get another one. And a last one. This one gets a quickling. Quickling bounces recruiter, gets parasitic streaks. And we win the game. Yeah, so this is the correct order. We leave this trigger on the stack. And if they have a removal spell for the streaks here, we can return the Cavern Harpy and save it from being killed. This looks like a matchup where I want all these fair cards. Or at least a bunch of them. They probably have things like Siege Rhino, which I want to kill with the Abyss. To the Slaughter deals with also with like their large creatures that they might have that are outclass ours. This seems like a grindy card. And Golgari Charm. I think that maybe sometimes they play things like Pernicious Deed and don't have the mana to activate it yet. I think I'm gonna bring in only Rex Sage, and then if they do bring in a lot of hateful enchantments, I probably also bring in the Golgari Charm. But this seems more flexible, and it's tutorable of the recruiter of the guard. And this hand is great. I'm definitely gonna brainstorm in response, because brainstorm is usually the first card they name. And I'm not fetching basics here, obviously, because these decks usually don't play Wasteland. He's going to flash back the therapy with his Veteran Explorer. Most likely. I could put back one land to shuffle it away. Oh yeah, and I can brainstorm in response to the flashback. Yeah, so I put back 2 cards that I want to shuffle away. Then if he does not name brainstorm here, we can we are kind of weak to him naming brainstorm here, but if you already brainstorm in response to the first therapy, they're very unlikely to still name it. And now they flash it back. And I fetch my basic island and whatever second basic. And then I brainstorm in response. So they have like the choice of 4 cards they know. They don't know exactly which one I'm gonna put back on top and which ones I'm going to keep in hand. So they have like a 50% chance of hitting here, which is better than the 100% chance they would have had otherwise. I'll get a forest and an island. Okay, I do have two simple libraries in hand, so I definitely don't want to keep both of them in my hand. So I think I put back library Strix, which means even if, like, whatever they take here, I get to play my Strix, draw the library, and play the library next turn. Name recruiter of the guard, sure. If they have surgical and surgical me here, I would be in a lot of trouble. Because I put the two cards I want on top. You're not even in that much trouble actually, because I still had a Sylvan Library in hand. Because I didn't name it, but it would still have been quite bad for me. Curse of what? Curse of Misfortunes. At the beginning of their upkeep, they may search their library for a cursed card. Sure. So I need to find my Rex Sage here. Probably. Or my Aluren. Put on top. Pay for life. I would only get wrecked here if they surgical my recruiter in response to me casting this Aluren. Getting Imperial, which means that I'm less weak to surgical. So getting the Quickling. Getting Cavern Harpy. Cavern Harpy bouncing my Quickling. And then Quickling bouncing the Recruiter. And then Recruiter getting the Parasitic Strix. And they don't have mana up, so I think I might just play it without playing around removal spells. An opponent wants to waste everybody's time. Like if they won the first game, it would make sense to make me lose some time clicking, but because they can't win the round anymore on time, because I'm not gonna take 18 minutes comboing, it's a bit silly. To be fair, I have let people play something out sometimes when I felt like the game was very one-sided. So I can definitely understand sometimes how you can be unhappy and need to let your opponent click through it. I'm curious why Magic Online is not displaying the storm count here. I would really love to see how many storm we have reached by now. No storm count, sure. Two and two. So we're fighting this last match to redeem our play points. Or redeem ourselves. Oh, we're playing against Belcher again. Won the die roll, would like to play first, definitely. Does this deck have any way to beat Belcher? Force of Will, actually. So I mulligan. And I think I keep this. I bottom the Brainstorm and I play my Underground Sea. Because I might need to Brainstorm into Force of Will here. Like pilling out Deathrite might mean I just straight up die. And that was the main reason to bottom my Brainstorm, because I don't care for a second Brainstorm, I just want to draw a Force of Will. Here it's tricky. I can Brainstorm, try to find a fetch land, and then Deathrite, but I think I want to keep my Brainstorm as long as possible. Because if he doesn't go for it here, and I can wait until my next turn to Brainstorm, I'm already one card deeper, so... Opponent land grants. I need... Let's see, if they go for empty the warrens, land grant can resolve, right? Chrome Mox. So, if I find a fetch land next turn, I would win. But I'm probably dead before then. So I empty the warrens could be fine here, if I'm lucky. But let's see, they play Chrome Mox, imprint, empty the warrens, play Taiga, play Manamorphose. Wait, they don't have a way to get to 3 mana yet, I think. Right? Like, we know all 7 cards in their hand. So yeah, we need to counter the Manamorphose, I think. Or the thing that gets them to 3 mana. Chrome Mox, imprint, Sitting Song. Taiga, Chrome Mox, imprint, Sitting Song, play Manamorphose. And actually I don't need to Brainstorm here, because whatever they draw, if they draw a mana source, I just counter the Sitting Song, if I even find a Force of Will. So I don't Brainstorm until I'm absolutely sure they can kill me, and otherwise I just preserve it for as long as possible. So I think I pass turn here. I might Brainstorm end of their turn to try to find the fetch land to combo. But I couldn't combo there at that point anyway, so... I mean, I could have found... Wait, this gets them to 3. Which means I still need to counter the Seething Song. And maybe I could have found an Abrupt Decay to kill the Chrome Mox. So yeah, I could have seen Brainstorming being worth it. Actually, Seething Song... I think I'm gonna Brainstorm in response here. Did not find Force, did not find Fetch Land. So I put back, I think I just put back double shardless and hope they go for goblins here. I actually gave them 2 free goblins, which is a pity, but land grant, sure. At least Deathrite is good at blocking goblins, and so is Shardless Agent. See, exile the Rite of Flame and pass turn. At least next, like this turn we cascade into whatever, the next turn we should be able to kill them. Like I don't think they could draw anything that wins them the game here. They have double Shard Belcher. So they don't have any mana source that gets them to 7 mana. Like so we need to play a green source. Get more recruiters. And he can't even really interrupt me here, so I might just get a combo out already. Wait, I don't actually need to bounce my Quickling, I think. Just need to get my Parasitic Strix. Always healed. Okay. Opponent is nice and friendly and concedes. You don't play Belcher to watch your opponent do stuff for 5 minutes. So I can definitely understand why they would concede here instead of play. So against this deck you want stuff that kills artifacts. With the Station, in case they can play Belcher but not activated yet. You want stuff that gives -1/-1 to the goblins. You want Eternal Canonist to stop them from storming. Thalia makes their life like hell. And some Thought Seasons and Surgicals. Surgical is probably not so great here. But like you might counter or Thought Season first Belcher and then Surgical away as many of their win conditions as possible. Symbol library, slow. I think they don't have any disruption like force or so, so I guess 3 Allurens are fine. Abrupt Decay, like it kills, if they bring in something like Sandit Swarm, Abrupt Decay would be good, but yeah, I think maybe I bring in 1 extra blue card for Force of Will and cut the Imperial Recruiter. Because we already cut an Aluren. We are not the combo deck here, we are the control deck. Okay, we die to a turn 1 combo here, but if they are 1 card short, we can Thought Seize them. I think we have to keep this and just hope they don't have it yet. Oh, they start with LED. That's scary, I guess. Exile 2 Spirit Guides, Ritual. If they have exactly Belcher here, we are actually not dead, because they have a Taiga in their deck. Diminishing returns might let us get a force of will. So I definitely don't mind this from happening. Ooh, we found force blue card and surgical. So we need to keep track of everything they have in the graveyard and everything that's been exiled already to know if they have the option of drawing it. So Tinderall brings them up to 4 for Empty the Warrens. Which means I need to counter this if they're on the empty plan, but if they are on the Belcher plan, they don't. So I think I just surgical the diminishing returns and see whether or not I need to counter the Tinderwall. Because I'm dead regard. If they have emptied the Warrens, I'm actually dead because they will have 20 goblins. Who they are on the Goblin Charbelcher plan. Okay. So that means we need to not counter this. The Manamorphose could find empty the Warrens, but so be it. I think we should have Manamorphosed first. Okay, we won the game. Opponent did not want to play it out. They could have tried like to go for it again in 20 turns, but that's probably not worth their time. So it was a good finish to a league that started quite difficult, like 1 and 2. But yeah, Aluren is a... If you like these dirtly kind of decks, it's definitely fun. Okay, it's my screen seems frozen, my camera. Hello? Yeah, whatever, I'll see if it works or not. Maybe it's just my screen that's frozen. So I wish everybody good evening or night and see you for the next video.